American live audience game shows are the pinnacle of entertainment. There's no way around that. It's an objective fact. But for some reason, the industry went down the wrong path. They chose the wrong kind of game show to mass produce and rip off 1,000 times. Sure, American Idol was cool and the voice wasn't too bad, and America's Got Talent had things other than singing and like a mean British dude going for it, so it wasn't like unwatchable. But The Masked Singer, really? Why are already famous people dressing up as mascots to sing? Like, why? And High School Musical, Get in the Picture, was just a singing show where the prize was to get into High School Musical 3. And the winner was just in the credits, not even the movie. And I'm not even going to discuss The Singing Office. But I think you get my point. They focused too much on giving people with talent who deserved money a bunch of money. Instead, what they should have focused on was the shows where they gave a bunch of idiots a bunch of money for no real reason. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Deal or No Deal? Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Okay, well, I guess the whole point of that last one was that they weren't idiots, but you get my point. These shows were where they should have focused. The show I'm going to talk about today isn't one of the highly successful ones that got turned into board games or an arcade game or Sega Dreamcast games or whatever. I'm going to talk about The Moment of Truth. The show where to make $500,000, all you need to do is tell the truth. But before I discuss how the actual game works, I'll give you some boring production details. It aired on Fox from January 23rd, 2008 to August 8th, 2009. There were 3 seasons produced, but only 2 released, resulting in a total of 38 episodes, with 15 of them going unaired. It was hosted by Mark Wahlberg, no, not that one, this one, and it was produced by Lighthearted Entertainment, who made some really interesting looking shows. And when I say that this is the most f***ing insane show I've ever seen, I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm going to go into detail about the branding of this show, what makes it so unique and borderline psychotic, using my favorite episode, number 5, from season 1. The premise of this show is just, wow. Mr. Howard Schultz, take a bow. You killed this one. So before the show is even shot, the contestants are picked and subjected to a polygraph test consisting of over 50 yes or no questions. The producers then take 21 of these questions and ask them in front of a live studio audience, their family, and friends. The questions start off pretty tame in comparison to the final ones. For example, in our episode, this is the first question.
As an employee of a hair salon, have you ever told a customer you liked their hairstyle when in fact you did?
Well.
Okay, so this is going to feel like a Zoom lecture now, so please bear with me while I explain all the rules. You ready? What do you mean no? The prize money is given out in a similar way to other shows in the 2000s, in like a pyramid system. The contestants have to answer 6 questions to get up to the $10,000 tier, then answer 5 more to get up to the $25,000 tier, 4 more after that gets you to $100,000, 3 gets you to $200,000, 2 all the way up to $300,000, and 1 final question for $500,000. The contestants have to tell the truth in order to progress through the game. So if they lied in the polygraph, the record will say that, and they have to answer the truthful answer. For example, if a contestant was asked something like, have you ever cheated on your husband during the polygraph? And they answered no, but that was a lie, the answer to progress in the game would have to be yes. The contestant's family is also allowed to skip a question if they choose, but only 1 time. Okay, so that was boring. Let's get into the actual show. This show utilizes a cold open to immediately draw interest. Mark Wahlberg, no, not that one, expresses genuine concern for the viewer right at the introduction.
Welcome to a special Monday night edition of The Moment of Truth. This episode was so controversial, it sparked a long debate as to whether or not to air it at all. Quite honestly, if I had my vote, it would not air. It is the most uncomfortable I've ever been on television, asking these questions and listening to the answers that were given. But in the end, it was decided that this episode should air. I will tell you, however, that the truth is often not pretty. So here it is. This is The Moment of Truth.
I have never seen anything like that watching reality television. Right away, in a dark, empty studio that makes this opening feel like it was like a last minute oh shit kind of moment. They watched the episode back and were really like, yeah, maybe we went a little too far. But not that Mark Wahlberg's warning actually did the exact opposite of what was intended. Hearing the host of the show, who's paid to have charisma and make people interested, explicitly telling you to not watch just makes you as a viewer move closer to the screen. It makes you ask so many questions that can only be answered by watching the episode. What could be so bad? What kind of questions are they going to ask? Who is this contestant? All will be answered in due time, coming up on The Moment of Truth. Only one question will remain by the end. Was this scripted, or was this genuine concern for the viewers? In an interview, Not That Mark Wahlberg was quoted as saying, "I know people are going to think I was just BSing, but the truth is, I was begging her to stop." In my opinion, this just makes it even more impactful. This was real, but him telling the audience not to watch just made everyone turn up the volume. Speaking of volume, let's talk about sound and music. We call that a segue in the business. Anyways, the show starts off in an interesting way. It starts with a montage from the current episode with a theme that instills anxiety and stress, kind of sounding like a ticking time bomb.
Do you know things about your father that you keep secret from your mother?
Then it transitions into a pre-made graphic with the logo, the blue and orange color scheme, and a spiral going downwards with past clips. The music also changes to have a sort of angelic undertone, which I think creates a kind of holier than thou attitude. This is showing the truthful nature of the show and builds the persona that the game itself is kind of like an all-knowing entity. This is further reinforced when the polygraph is introduced. Since it is a major factor of the show, it forces that image into the mind of the viewer. This introduction sets the tone and the overall feeling that the show is trying to create pretty well. But somewhere I think the show really struggles is in brand recognition. The logo isn't anything special, just a plain font in plain gray. The theme isn't really a song, it's just overlaying sound effects, which really hurts it. Everyone knows the Friends opening or the Office opening, but what about the Moment of Truth opening? Yeah. No one has any idea. I would also like some graphics in the lower third when the family is introduced. Our contestant, Lauren, has 5 family members with her who, in all fairness, do introduce themselves, but they're forgettable.
Frank, Lauren's husband.
Hello, Frank.
I'm Jay, Lauren's father.
I'm Kim, Lauren's mother.
Hi, I'm Monica, Lauren's sister.
I'm Tim, Lauren's brother.
Welcome to all of you. Glad to have you here.
Name cards or something would really help the family feel more important. When we get into the contents of the episode, you'll learn how important they really are, but they really do get lost in the drama. Yeah, like, who's this guy? What's his name? I literally just played the intro. What's his name? No, tell me. Does he even speak? I don't think so. What's his name? I want to know these people. Overall, I think The Moment of Truth really struggles in terms of graphic and music because nothing stands out. It just feels cookie cutter. The show's content definitely does stand out, but at a glance, it doesn't look like anything special at all. Okay, so now we can move on to the real meat and potatoes, the content of the show. What makes this work so well is just how brutal the questions and honestly the production crew really is. Let me explain. Now, you'd probably think the questions couldn't get that bad. This is the second question.
Question 2. Have you ever flashed a stranger just for laughs?
Okay, so that was only question 2. You need to answer 6 to even make any money at all. Because of the production staff, the show is on another level than your traditional game show. It becomes almost like a test of morality. This isn't a talent competition like American Idol or a game of chance like Deal or No Deal. It's different. The questions they ask aren't trivia questions like Jeopardy, but questions of morality. What would you give up for fame and fortune? It's an age-old debate. Well, money can't buy happiness. Yeah, well, it can't buy food and I'm starving and in debt. And, you know, there isn't always a right answer. Everyone has their own unique internal set of values that determine how they feel. And The Moment of Truth will show those internal values to everybody on a grand scale. What's more worth it? Your privacy or $500,000? Let's find out. So, once again, we have our contestant, Lauren, and she's in the hot seat. Let's see what she'll reveal for some money. We've already seen the first 2 questions, so let's see a couple more.
Question 3. Would you give food to a stray dog before you would give it to a homeless person? Question 4. Have you ever derived pleasure when one of your siblings has gotten into trouble? Question 5. Have you ever been fired from a job for stealing money?
So, as you can see, we're starting to get a little more serious. This is where the shift happens from the previously more lighthearted entertainment. Get it? So basically the joke is that like the company, now I don't want to make you watch the entire show because you can go do that yourself. I just need you to understand the kind of questions that are being asked. It's important, I promise. So I'm going to skip around a little bit and I'm going to show you the major points. These are the 3 most important questions.
Question 14. Do you believe you might have been in love with a former boyfriend on your wedding day? Can you tell everybody who this is? Or do I need to do it?
I can't speak right now, so.
This is your ex-boyfriend, Frank. When you're ready, question 15.
If I wanted to get back together with you, would you leave your husband?
Question 15.
Do you believe I'm the man you should be married to?
She answered all of those questions in front of her family and, most importantly, her husband. We are seeing in real time just how much she values her marriage. The Moment of Truth is the only show you'll find where we watch someone tear apart their own lives in the pursuit of money. People do dumb shit for money all the time. That's like the entire premise of Fear Factor. But this isn't necessarily dumb. The producers present the contestants with a completely fair choice. No pressure to keep going. They don't choose people that are struggling or desperate or anything like that. Every contestant in every episode I've seen are employed, or at least comfortable. The choice is theirs and theirs alone. The Moment of Truth is unique and stands out because it isn't a competition with anybody else. It's against themselves. The contestants are fighting their own morals. And the conclusion of this episode is the purest form of natural poetry, if I can call a production that costs thousands of dollars with cameras and a studio audience and a primetime television spot natural.
Question 17. Do you think you're a good person?
honestly, I think I am a good person.
So your answer is?
Yes.
That answer is
It's true. It's true.
false.
She answered yes, and it was wrong. That means when she hooked up to that polygraph and they asked her that very question, she answered yes, but on the inside, she knew she was lying. She knew. Her internal morals disagreeing with her brain. Am I saying that The Moment of Truth is some revolutionary greatest of all time game show? No. It didn't even run for 2 years because it got cut to make room for f***ing hole in the wall, but it was unique. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before. It made me put my phone down. I'll admit that I'm a sucker for reality TV. I love turning my brain off and watching Love Island or Big Brother or some shit like that, but they don't make me put my phone down. This did. I think what the show did is something that needs to be built upon. A game against yourself, against your own heart. I guarantee that in the age of social media, this show would have been everywhere. You could make so many good clips out of this and it would trend on Twitter. Honestly, the cold open would probably trend on TikTok as a sound. It needs some work for sure, and brand recognition especially. But overall, I think The Moment of Truth is a unique production that creates an interesting and memorable experience for the viewer and has a distinct audiovisual identity and branding elements.